Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your Virgo March 2024 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel St. James, clairvoyant. And it's wonderful to see the subscribers back again. Thank you for inviting me into your home. I really enjoy your company, and who would not enjoy your company? Well, this is a deck called Raphael or Raphaelite or something like that. I can't remember. I just had it wrapped up in string. The box is long gone, I think. So, but from memory, I think that's what it is. But in any event, it's a sort of a Renaissance type of art, you know, in that period there of the Da Vinci type of art, the Caravaggios, all that sort of thing. Not that they've got pictures in here, but that's the period, I suppose. Now, over the course of the last month, I've done a number of one-on-one clairvoyant readings for people, particularly some Virgos, over the course of the last month from different countries around the world over FaceTime and Skype. And if you might be interested to see what's involved in having a clairvoyant reading with me, then at the end of the video, check out the information that's in the description. Now, that's one spiritual gift I was provided with at birth, and the other one was and is healing. Now, I charge for readings as I have to, but healing is free. The gift is provided to me on the basis that, well, when I say it's provided to me, the healing comes through me and not from me. You'd understand the difference. But I am to provide the contact point for spiritual healing, and I am to receive nothing in return for it. So it's free, without charge, without any obligation whatsoever. And nothing will be sold or recommended to you by me or anybody else, and you won't be recommended to have a reading by me either. So if you have some emotional pain or something else that needs to have the spiritual energy put into it, and we'll spend time talking about it as we go through the process, then please reach out, because I'm very happy to do it. And in fact, it is a spiritual duty of mine, and I'm happy to comply with it. Now, hopefully Google has been set properly so that there are no video ads breaking their way into this content, so you get to enjoy the experience interrupted, and I think it has been. And the other thing is this, that we're going to take 5 cards. We only take 5 because we don't just spend 2 seconds on a card, do we? Oh no. They're actually very talkative to us about the cosmic energies that are swirling around you during the period. Well, these are all coming out, whatever they are. So this one came out first, and it is Major Arcana number 21, which I imagine is the World. This is 5 of Swords. This looks like, I'd say that's very difficult because they're not marked in any way. I'd say that's the Page of Swords there. There's no horses around, so I'd say that's, what was that? Just bear with me. Nothing like watching professionals, is there? Okay, what's this one? What is this one? Oh, there's the 7 of Swords. Swords everywhere for you this month. That's good. The 7 of Swords is here, and what is finally to come? Gee, that World card is great. They're all good. They're all good. They interact with each other, you see, and this is the 2 of Wands, which is very well received in that position there. They're all good. Don't be frightened of swords. No need to be at all. Well, we'll see this in just a second. So, I'll bring the camera around. Why don't you come and sit down here next to me? You and I can have a good look at the images on these cards together while I do the reading for you. Now, I think I just referred to that as the Page of Wands, didn't I? But the energy that I'm getting up from it is more of a Prince of Wands, even though it's got a feminine face, as I see it anyway. I'm going to refer to it, the energy is that of a Prince of Wands and not the Page, so that's how I'm going to read it. I've got to deal with what I'm feeling rather than necessarily always what I'm looking at. But I do see here there's a couple of subconscious negative blocks that are, in a sense, for a moment coming to the surface with you, but you do overcome them and you go through great joy. I think these negative blocks and aggravation
despondency might be connected with the person, and that's why this thing's here, I think. But anyway, let's get into it, shall we? And deal first with this. Now, as I say, there's lots of swords there. People can often be frightened by swords, but there is, and they can be troublesome. But let's have a look at it here. And what's going on here? The astrology is that of Venus ruling the first decan of Aquarius, that 22nd to the 29th of January. Look, Venus rules Taurus, one of your sister Earth signs. But here we have Venus coming into an air sign, being Aquarius. And these two are sort of at odds with one another because Venus is a lover and not a fighter, whereas Aquarius is a rebel, really, ruled both by Saturn, and they, well, co-resident there is Uranus. I don't see Uranus as being the ruler of Aquarius. But Aquarius is a fighter, and it's a fighter normally for causes. So the individualistic, sort of dispassionate nature of Aquarius clashes with the energy of Venus, which is the planet of relationship, amongst other things. And I think that's what we also have here with the numerology in the number 5. I have a mystical association with Mars, and Venus is also overwhelmed by the fiery and dispassionate nature of Mars. And so you might have a fear that you can't get what you want, that you can't achieve something. But these fears are unfounded. They're reflected in some respect by this card here, which I'll get to in a moment. But it's a fear, I think, of a defeat, a fear of missing out, a fear of not being able to attain something, or a fear of painful situations, or of painful experiences based on what has happened to you in the past. But the sign here is that of Aquarius, and Aquarius is directed towards the future. So the challenge is to make room for your own objectivity and creativity, which is shown by these blue and green colors for me, despite the fear that you have. And I think that what happens here is with this sunlight coming through here and also the energy of the sun coming through there, I think it represents the bright spirit that is now starting to break through the power of fear. So the essential element of this energy, I think, to put it in a nutshell, is that of fear, which is in a sense kind of distorting your view of the present and of the unknown in the future. Now, sometimes, though, this can refer to a betrayal or a sneak attack by someone that you trust and don't suspect is your enemy. Your fear could be the result of losing control emotionally due to previous hurts from relationships, or it may be connected with the workplace, of course, where you've had experiences that really stop you expressing yourself fully because your confidence has taken a beating. Let go of these feelings of fears, because the energy that's bound up with these swords will be released to work for you. I think that swords is mental, of course, and it may well be a mental concern that you're going through. But because of the presence of Venus, it could also relate to some emotions because of Venus coming into Aquarius. And Aquarius is about fighting, as I say. But because this card has shown up, I think it shows that you are now ready to see your fear, if I put it that way. It might be too strong a word, but fear is irrational in nature, you know. It doesn't necessarily reflect the real situation. Now, by recognizing this, you're going to set free all of those energies which have been bound up. And if you are afraid to see control slipping out of your hands, remember, the feeling that you are in control is an illusion. Seeing understanding, accepting, and letting go of this fear, which is not real, that is going to set you free. Say this to yourself: I am not my fears. It is safe for me to live without guarding and defending myself all of the time. When I feel afraid, I open my heart and let love dissolve the fear. I name my fear, I describe it, and then I let it go. Now it's interesting, I am going to go to this other card here, the 7. This has also got Aquarius in it on that position, I think. And this time it is the moon ruling what would be the 3rd decan of Aquarius, the 9th to the 18th of February. Look, the emotions of the moon come in and they cloud the intellectual qualities of Aquarius. Aquarius is thus weakened, which might give you something of a lack of clarity during this period, but you do overcome them, as I say, and it's connected with that 5, where you feel that you are maybe unable to get things to happen for you. You feel ineffectual. There could be a mental procrastination, putting things off. You might just be doing just enough coasting and working beneath your own standards. It's like it's a feeling of discouragement, I think, that you are bringing upon yourself, and it's a feeling which actually is inconsistent with what the reality of the situation is. You see, it might be that you are thinking that, look, everything seems to be clouded by a film or a veil. I just don't know what I really want. And if you were to look at the planet Venus, then you might have the feeling of, but it's all just too good to be true. And with that Mars aspect that we saw there before, you might think to yourself, I haven't the energy, there's no time, or I'm already too old. And to throw in some other planets, Jupiter, it might say, or have you thinking, that's too much good at once, I could never cope with so much success. And so they don't feel out. Mercury and Saturn, well, Mercury might say, I just can't convey it properly, or Saturn thinks it's simply too much trouble and it takes too long. Now, these literally destructive thoughts, they do not need and should not be taken seriously, because the reality is very different to what your perception of it is. I think very soon you're going to laugh over your doubts, your self-doubts that make it seem that difficulties are insurmountable, or where your mind might be distracted at the time you feel focused. There could be subconscious doubts that are dominating, because there is the moon coming in there. I think you should know that these fears, like here, have nothing to do with reality. So wake up and see what's really happening. In what areas of your life do you put yourself down with your own limited ideas? And what are your constricting belief systems? Say this to yourself, because it's definitely true. I master all the skills and means needed to achieve that for which I long for most deeply. But you do overcome this moment of self-doubt, as you should, of all people. And what do we have here? What have I done with that? That goes there. And this is here. And this is the 2 of Wands, the Lord of Dominion, or power. You see, you do get your act together, because this is Mars in the 1st decan of Aries, which is the 21st to the 30th of March. Well, here, Mars is in its own sign, Mars in Aries. And the number 2 here is about making things happen, bringing things together. Now, Mars is the planet of vitality, energy, and assertion. And Aries, of course, is exploration, pioneering, and this number 2 also brings about a balance here. You have the energy now to move in new directions from a place of balance and harmony with the confidence and the aggression of Mars. Now, you might well find as a result of this that you are actually now dominating a situation. You might be dominating somebody else. I think you are not going to be satisfied with your lot, and you are focusing your intent now. Now, the planet Mars, which is the bearer of dynamic, active powers, is in its own sign of Aries, the pioneer who constantly seeks new ways and methods of advancement. And so you are going to be driving forward now, letting all those other doubts drift off into the background and into the cemetery. There is a renewal here. Now, this power that you have rests on harmony and centeredness. Maybe a good word would be command, in the sense of having a command of yourself. Now, this means that your energies need to be collected and concentrated to provide the courage necessary to embark upon new paths. Now, whatever big changes may occur along the way, you are not going to be thrown off balance. Now, rather than actually being full of self-doubt, you push them away, as I say. In fact, you move into the position where where it's as if you are overcome by boldness, a courage. There's a fierceness, and dare I say it, a sort of a shamelessness with you. You'll be generous and proud, but you may also have a certain amount of revenge hanging around with you, and a resolution to get things to happen. I think this is suggesting that your will is beginning to rebel against the boundaries that you have set up for yourself, because you'll be using your willpower to break through stagnant situations and remove long-standing blocks. This is a time to act, and act on instinct and what you believe to be right without overthinking the situation. Now, you're going to have dynamic leadership ability here, and there's just energy building up and propelling you forward. Now, pay attention to centering. If you are in contact with your center, you are going to master every situation. So trust your energy and don't go for any false compromises. Now, which tasks and situations are a challenge for you? If you are in a challenging situation, sit down upright and comfortably and breathe deeply into your abdomen. Wait until your breathing flows gently and calmly and you feel quite relaxed. Now visualize the situation at hand and see yourself dealing with it while remaining centered. And say this to yourself, because it is true for you now, that I find the strength I need now in my center to bring about what I want and to go on the road to victory. Now, where do we go? Is it lined up for you? And there we are. Let's see. This. The world is what I would call it, or the great one of the night time. Well, this has got Saturn all over it. Saturn in its positive aspect of bringing you back onto your soul path, to conform with your soul contract. There's travel here, and a liberation from bondage, whether that bondage is in your mind or elsewhere, and the burning off of karma. This is actually the last card of the major arcana, and it closes the circle, which began with the Fool. In a sense, the great task has been brought to completion and returns again to the innocence of the Fool. The drop disappears into the ocean, and the ocean pours into the drop. this completion is, I think, at the same time, a new beginning on a higher level of being for you. You're smarter, you're stronger, your goals are reached. Now you see yourself in the world as it really is. So much so that you might think that some of the masks you've been wearing are no longer necessary, because you're quite happy with your original self. You're caught up in the energy of the universe. There's the completion of a project here, I think, for you. Your efforts are finally paying off, and it has been something of a long, hard haul, hasn't it? But you're almost there, and this is a reminder to finish what you have started. But most importantly, I think you are learning to take control of your own destiny. And, as this card also said, you'll be using the power of your will to get results. I think you're going to be very gifted at finishing and starting things at the same time, completing the old and starting the new. And you'll bring change into structured environments, I think. There's a desire here for you to experience as much of the world and its people as is possible. I think it's now possible for you to see things as they really are. The stage is set for a new beginning or for a very favourable completion. The events going on in your life now are in harmony with the universe. But following the experience that you had with these, this is also asking you to think of this. What aspects of your life is it time to free yourself? Is there a journey waiting for you to set in motion? Trust your perceptions and make a list of all unfinished situations whose tying off will give you a sense of relief. And say this to yourself: I love to travel. I love to explore the unknown. I am excited about bringing ideas and creative projects into form. I deeply value making a contribution that makes things better for the people I know. And I am at one with the universe. And then we come finally to this enigmatic card, which I see as being the Prince of Swords, but what's more important is the energy that's coming up from it. Gee, I get a lot of Aquarius and Capricorn around here. They may well be important to you. This is someone who is intellectual, full of ideas and plans. This could be someone that you know, someone who's very clever but a bit unstable, someone who could be domineering, elusive, someone who might be quite impressionable going on here. It is, though, for you a period of great intuition, of creative thinking and cutting through of all entanglements, and in particular becoming free of limited ideas and models, and now you have clear perception. You know, the creative thought process that you have is not going to tolerate you being limited by outgrown patterns or thoughts anymore. Sometimes problems appear insurmountable to us because of old limiting belief systems and convictions, such as, I am weak and dependent, or if I assert myself, I will be punished, or I am basically clumsy. Now, in some past situation, maybe in your childhood, such feelings could have had a certain truth to them, but now they have no relation to your present reality. But you know what happens? You can continue to drag these beliefs along with you, repeatedly experiencing situations which reinforce them. And you tell yourself, for example, that, I am clumsy, and therefore you drop and break things. Well, I can tell you that reality is quite different. We don't simply fall into situations accidentally, but create them around ourselves based on our beliefs about reality. Your life is what you think it is. Let me repeat that. Your life is what you think it is. Now, if you closely examine parts of yourself, which you might think, well, I want to work on this, which make me feel uncomfortable, well, see them for what they are, because you can correct them, love them, don't advertise them to other people, and you can let go of them as well. I think this also speaks of a person that is really very intelligent, loves thinking, questioning, philosophizing, good at creating ideas quickly, but the challenge is not to move on without developing them. The intellect can be draining to other people who are unable to keep up. Now, you might find that you are quite independent, private. Some people might find you difficult to get to know, even. I can't understand why that would be the case. But it might indicate a need to slow down and analyze your thoughts to see if something practical can be gained from them. Do you know, now is the time, just let things go. Drop the bag that you're carrying. Free yourself from whatever limits your mind and spirit. And be sure you express your ideas and plans in ways that other people will understand. And look, accept their opinions humbly. You don't have to agree with them, but listen to them. It is the case, you see, that your thinking just might be way ahead of its time. But I think you can adjust to make your vision workable now without sacrificing anything. Now, what beliefs, feelings, relationships, or programmed ideas do you allow yourself to be limited by? Say this to yourself. My creative possibilities have no limits, but they do need to be grounded. Well, what a particularly good set of cards for you. What a great month. And you did a great job.
Yes, you did a really good job in that reading, and what a fantastic and interesting month it looks like it's going to be for you, and don't you deserve it? It's great to see you. And you deserve all the good things in life, really you do. Now, unless I see you privately for a reading or a healing, then I'll see you again next month. And until then, remember one thing, and it is this, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, it's bye for now.